Today I'm going to talk about my onions and plant my onion seeds. I have 3 different kinds of onions and some leeks. It's the perfect time to plant onions right now because they take so long to grow. And I have a map here to explain the different kinds. I'm in the north, so I need to get long day onions. If you live pretty much above this line here, these are northern onions. These are southern onions. And anyone can grow the day neutral ones. So if you are in the south, you want to grow the short day onions. If you're in the north, you want to grow the long day onions. If I was to try and grow the short day onions in the north, then by spring, the days would be long enough and they would start to bulb up before they were ready, and they would just get tiny little bulbs. And if I was in the south and I was trying to grow long day onions, then the days are not long enough for them to ever bulb, and I would just be stuck with just a plant that never turns into a nice bulb. So if you want bulbs on your onions and you're trying to actually grow nice size ones, where you live is really important to which ones you choose. So they have day neutral ones like the candy and a few others I can't remember, but those, anyone can grow those. So I have several kinds here. These are just the kinds that I can get in my area. I have the sweet Spanish yellow, some Walla Walla, and some red here, and then I have some Leeks. What I'm going to do is I have one of these trays. It has holes in the bottom for drainage, and this one doesn't have holes. So I'm going to take the one with holes, and I'm going to fill it with soil, and I'm just going to seed all these in here. Each one of these packets has about, this here is the 500 milligrams of the seeds, and that'll cover about the size of a seed packet. So, and then I have ones that are a gram, like these ones. So they'll do a couple seed packet space. So I have 3 of the ones that are a gram, so I can do all of these, the Spanish yellow. These here I can do the Walla Walla, and then these here I can do the red. And then my leeks, I'll just put pots here. I'm just going to put my leeks in these pots. So the first thing I need to do is fill this up with some potting soil and moisten it up. I don't want it to be soaking wet, but I want it to be nice and moist. The soil is moistened. I'm going to put the yellow ones up here, the red ones here, and the Walla Walla onions here. One more look at the map one more time here. It said if you, right where the Virginia, North Carolina line is, right about there, if you live North Carolina and below and south, you should grow short day onions. San Francisco and south, if you grow North Carolina or around San Francisco or so, all the way across north, grow long day onions. And if you don't live in the United States, you'll have to look that up because I don't really know. I'm going to take the Walla Walla onions first. I'm just going to sprinkle them right here on top. You see them because they're so dark, but I'm just putting them all over this whole area. Just kind of making sure they're everywhere because they'll grow in a big, thick clump. I'll pull them apart and separate them because they'll grow in a nice, thick clump this way, like grass kind of clumping up. And then I'll just pull them apart and replant them in the spring in the ground that way. So I'm going to make sure all the Walla Walla onions are right here. I think, why am I doing so many at once? Why don't I save some of these seed packets for later use? But onion seeds don't store very well. After about a year, they just sort of start to go bad and they don't really germinate anymore. So if you have onion seeds, you might as well plant them because they just aren't going to store. And if you're trying to get more onion seeds, you don't want to use these because these will grow, and then onion sets are already grown for a season, so they're a year old. So onion sets will actually go to flower. These won't go to flower because it's their first year unless there's something wrong with them, like a genetic mistake or something. But onion sets will have a tendency to flower. So if you're trying to collect seeds from onions and you want to save some for that, go ahead and get the onion sets. But if not, then you want to go with the seed. So I'm going to go ahead and do my one last seed right through here. I'm going to sprinkle them all over. It's not really anything precise. I'm just going to pat them down a bit. I'm going to go ahead and do the Spanish yellow here and the red onions here. I'm doing my leeks exactly the same. They look the same. I'm just sprinkling them on top of the soil here in these little pots. And then I'm going to just press them down. Now that I have all my seeds in here, I'm going to go ahead and take some more potting soil, and I'm just going to sprinkle it on the top here. I sprinkled some more soil on top of here, and on here I've wet this. I'm going to go ahead and just lightly wet the top of this again. There, I don't want that super saturated, just lightly wet. I don't want it like, you know, like swampy or anything. And I have a cover here I'm just going to put over this to keep the moisture in. I'm going to take some plastic wrap and put on the top of these. Okay, I have them all nice and covered up, and that's all I have to do. I actually have a heat mat here that I'm going to set the onions on just so that they will maybe germinate a little faster and easier, but it's not really needed. It's just something that I'm going to use since my house is so cool and it's the middle of winter and everything. So once these all start to grow, it'll kind of like grass coming up in clumps, and they're like bent over, so they'll kind of come up and push the top layer of the soil off, and it's kind of a mess, but you just kind of shake it back down and redo it and push them down in there. But they grow in, it looks like a bunch of grass growing, they'll get about this tall or so, and then I will be ready to probably transplant them outside in the spring. This is just how I'm going to be planting my onions and my leeks. I hope everyone has a wonderful day.